Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The purpose of this session, inshallah, is just to go through some really very commonly frequently asked questions and answers with regard to Ramadan and fasting. So inshallah, I'll present some of the questions that we've come across most recently with regards to, of course, fasting in Ramadan, and the Sheikh inshallah can Jazakumullah khair, fire away and inshallah answer the question. So the first question, Sheikh Jazakallah khair, is with regard to the intention. Is it sufficient to make one intention for the whole of Ramadan at the beginning, or does someone have to make an intention every single day? Jazakallah khair.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Muhammad Rasulullah. A good question, yeah. Intention for the fard siyam is different to the intention for the nafl siyam. Fasting and obligatory fasting and fasting and nafl fasting is not the same. So for the fasting of compulsory like in Ramadan, the Prophet ﷺ mentioned in the hadith that the intention need to be made from the night. And therefore a person need to make the intention. And the intention is not loudly said, is not verbally said, yeah? It's at the level of the qalb, is in the heart. That a person will fast. Now, do we do an individual intention for every night of Ramadan? Some of the scholars say yes, but what is inshallah ta'ala more relaxing and what I go by is that one intention for the whole month of Ramadan is sufficient, because if you were to say individual night needs individual intentions, we are going to make some hardship on the ummah. If one were to miss it, what will happen to it then? So therefore, one intention inshallah will be enough, but it's enough to know that it's Ramadan, we are Ramadan, you wake up for your suhoor and so on. That's an intention by itself. So inshallah, one intention for Ramadan will suffice. Now,
the second question is with regards to a sick person. So obviously with regards to fasting, it's mentioned that a person who is sick is exempt, they don't have to fast. What really we wanted to focus on is what comes under the umbrella of sick. Is it sufficient someone could say, I have a headache, I'm not feeling well, that means okay, it's not fast? Or somebody, I don't know, maybe they're diabetic, maybe they have a bigger underlying health issue. Is it referring to that as in for a reason or an excuse to be exempt? Jazakallah khair.
Okay, good one. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah. Look, brothers and sisters, in this, a person should fear Allah Azza wa Jal. Yes, Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned in the Quran, فَمَنْ كَانَ مِنْكُمْ مَرِيضًا أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ فَعِدَّةٌ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرٍ وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَهُ فِدْيَةٌ طَعَامُ مِسْكِينٍ. So the sick means sick, and the traveler have the permission. And those that cannot bear the fasting can feed one poor person for every day they eat, like the very old man, like Malik radiallahu anh used to do when he got to his 90s, or somebody that is very sick with a long lasting sickness that there is no cure from it. So, what is sickness? Sickness is it's a state whereby if you were to fast, fasting will be detriment to your health. You don't assess that yourself. Like in this level, you should fear Allah Azza wa Jal. You wake up with a headache, is not good enough in my books. Rest, squeeze your head with a bandana or something. Go and lie down. Have a walk, breathe some air. Not paracetamol. It's paracetamol. It's a con, paracetamol. So therefore, fear Allah Azza wa Jal in what you label to be sickness. Ya akhi, subhanallah, fear Allah. The kuffar are using fasting as a mean of cure to their patients. Everybody is talking about fasting now. Putting person through starvation for 72 hours. Putting people that want to lose weight and have better immune system through fasting. The 8-16 method. Everybody is investigating and implementing this. And as the Ummah of Muhammad, As the people of fasting, we try looking for excuse. Fear Allah. And know that that day is not replaceable. So you need to fear Allah to what you label to be sickness. And if it's really, really unbearable and fasting is not helping, then Allah has given you the permission in view to give back those days that you've eaten. Wallahu ta'ala alam.
A link off really to the point we just mentioned in terms of pregnancy. If a lady is pregnant, what is the best advice with regard to this?
Okay. Very good question as well. Welcome. Pregnant women and breastfeeding women, they either fall under the category of sick people that have the right to eat, or the people that cannot bear the fasting. على الذين يطيقونه. And in this, the ulama have 4 views. But the condition need to be fulfilled. The pregnant woman should either fear on her health or fear for her baby that she carries. Then she has the permission to eat. Without fear, she should not eat. It's not by default you are pregnant, eat. La. If there is an element by seeking advice on knowing within yourself by trying, then you can eat as a permission. And the breastfeeding woman, similar. If she feels that will hurt the milk that is in her breast to wet nurse her child, and she will decrease that for the child, so she is worrying for the child, then she can eat. Like otherwise, if she can still fast and breastfeed by spreading back the time of eating properly at iftar and properly after iftar, few snacks and a good suhoor, maybe she can go through that. What they should do after, if they were to take the permission, if it's fulfilled by them, then the most inshallah ta'ala authentic view is that they should give those days back. أيام أخر. Some people or a group of ulama say feeding a poor person every day. Some say giving back and feeding. Lakin inshallah ta'ala, what is more relaxing to my heart is that they should give those days back. The question would rise, first year pregnancy she missed Ramadan. The following year she could not give it and she was breastfeeding. And if she goes for the hawlain, the 3rd year she may even breastfeed. So there is 3 Ramadans. She gives those days after she finishes everything slowly. They don't have to be day after day. It could be days everywhere, here and there. And she can, inshallah ta'ala, Allah give her the tawfiq to give it back. Wallahu ta'ala.
Jazakumullah khair. The next question is with regard to what invalidates the fast. So, in particular, a few questions here. The first one is vomiting. If somebody vomits, does this invalidate the fast?
Vomiting, beside obviously the main 3 that invalidate fast is eating, drinking and being with your wife, the sexual intercourse. As far as vomiting, if the vomit comes by itself, in other words, ضاءك القيء, it was forced on you and you vomited, there is no problem. But if you were to make yourself vomit by putting your finger or as such, in other words, you caused the vomit, then you broke your fast.
What about an injection? If somebody had an injection, is there something this would invalidate the fast?
It depends what kind of injection. If it's an injection that take the same hukm as taghdiyah, as nourishment, then it does break the fast. But if it's an injection that is given, out of pain, out of anything as such, but they are not a substitute to food. The injection, if they are a substitution to food, then yes. But if they are not, they are not. Wallahu ta'ala alam.
And the last subtopic, the asthma, the inhaler pump. If somebody suffers from asthma and they take an inhaler, is there something this would invalidate the fast?
Things that invalidate the fast are the things that can reach the stomach. And the inhaler is a medication that goes to open the bronchs in the lungs of the person suffering from asthma. So inshallah ta'ala, it does not affect the fasting of the person.
You mentioned that the general ruling for something that would invalidate or break the fast would be if you eat, something, drink something, or sexual relations or intercourse between a husband and wife. With regards to marital relations between a husband and wife, is there? I mean, does the intercourse have to take place completely for it to have broken the fast, or would some sort of foreplay or would some sort of entering have that same kind of ruling or effect where a person's fast would be broken?
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala Muhammad Rasulullah. The ulama are of the opinion that if a person were to fulfill his desire by ejaculation, any form that will lead to that will nullify his fast. Some of them obviously link the shahwa only to intercourse, but what is more authentic is that anything that lead to that result will nullify his fast. That include masturbation, which is haram, or foreplay that led the person to ejaculate, or between the thighs, or even if it's all foreplays. If they led a person to that, you caused it, so that nullify the fast. My advice, if for brothers and sisters, is not to keep away from each other. You have time between Maghrib till Fajr, and during the rest of the time, ittaqillah, and say, ana sa'im, you are fasting. And fasting normally should make you control your nafs more, because the veins are shrinking, the blood is not running. So do your due prudence in this, and keep away from your wife. It's only a few days, and you have the night.
What if somebody ate food or drank something by accident, by mistake?
If somebody drank something or ate something, by accident, not realizing or forgetting, there is la haraj on him, inshallah. If he were to realize, he should just only spit it, but there is it doesn't affect, inshallah ta'ala, his fasting, as long as he's out of forgetfulness. No.
Jazakumullah khair. Just final few questions now, really. So we're obviously at a time where we're in lockdown and the masajid have kind of gone digital and online. So there's a question here to say, can we pray our Tarawih online, Tarawih with a masjid? So let's say a masjid doing, YouTube live Tarawih session. Is it permissible for a person to pray with that masjid or with that online session, Tarawih, and pray behind them like that?
It's a very common question lately. Yes, it's true that it's a new question as such, linked to Corona and with the multimedia, but it's an old question because there is something similar to it. The bottom line is, some very few ulama have allowed it with conditions, and many have not allowed it. And therefore, it should not be practiced. Rather, pray with whatever you have at home, whether you are a person that can read or want to read from a mushaf, or somebody else can lead you to pray. Those that allow it, they said they need to fulfill two conditions. Tawheed al-makani wal-zaman. It has to be a unity, or it should be close enough placement-wise, or position-wise, and same timing. In other words, you are not going to pray Taraweeh in London led by the Imams of Mecca, because their time and our time is not the same. Where they are and we are is not the same. Whereas if you are, for example, I'll give an example of Southall. You are in Old Southall, or even on the Broadway, and CGM, Southall Montague Road Masjid or Abu Bakr Masjid decided to do the Taraweeh, and they put loudspeaker. The people living around them could pray with them, because that is similar, because what is the common factor between them is a sama', they can hear. And this is similar to you praying on the top of the Masjid al-Haram, in the terraces, or in the yards of the Masjid al-Haram. So you only hear. Okay, some of the ulama said you need to see the last row and so on, but they allowed it from this angle that if you are close by to the masjid, you can hear the imam, then you can use it as your imam, but not on this all application Zooms and this and that, and all this tarawih element. No. Pray al-afdal, pray by yourself with the little, even if you have to repeat Qul huwallahu ahad in every rak'ah. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam.
Jazakumullah khair, which brings to the next question really. What's the ruling in standing with the mushaf and praying?
It is, in the nafl salah, it is permissible. Most of the ulama are of the opinion that is permissible. In fact, is the Jumhur, the qawl of the Jumhur, al-Malikiyya, al-Shafi'iyya, al-Hanabila, they say that it is allowed to have the mushaf and read from it, and they refer this that Aisha radiallahu anha used to have a mawla, a ghulam called Dakwan, and he used to lead her in the salah reading from the suhuf. So it is permissible. Saying that the Hanafiya rahimahumullah, they said that it's not right, because they say that it involves movement, and excess movement nullify the salah. So for you to take a middle view is that you can read from the Quran but minimize your harakat, your movement. And nowadays, yes, people may even read from their mobile. Yeah, you can read from the mobile, but as long as you don't busy yourself with screensaver, switching on, leave it on all time mode. For example, read the first page that is there, put it in your pocket and go to your rak'ah and sujood. Then when you come back, you will read the next page and so on. Or the mushaf, you open it into, you read one page in one rak'ah and one page the other rak'ah. That way you don't need to flick through the papers. So minimize your movement, inshallah ta'ala, while doing so, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from us.
Jazakumullah khair. Just the last question now, Sheikh, really, with regard to the sisters who, may come onto their menses and obviously they can't fast. What do you suggest is the best way for them to really, not miss out and not feel like they're not getting the rewards that everyone else is, during the days of Ramadan?
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu salam ala Muhammad Rasulullah. I will refer back to the hadith that I mentioned about the reward that the person gets, similar to the reward at the time when he was healthy and resident, before he becomes sick and traveling. So because sisters, Allah has created them in this manner, for them to have their menses once a month, they should of course refrain from fasting and praying. Like they could do many things. They can make remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jal, dhikr of Allah Azza wa Jal. The khidmah that they made, as I told you, they make a home for their loved ones, husband, children, mother, father, with the intention of seeking the reward from Allah Azza wa Jal. Listening to muhadarat, to lectures, listening to the Quran, to the point some of the ulama allowed them to read the Quran with a ha'il, with something not touching directly the mushaf. If they were scared they will forget their Quran or so on. And nowadays they can read from the mobile, because the mobile is not classified to be a mushaf. So you're not really touching a mushaf. Even though, as I said, a person can find in the remembers the dhikr of Allah Azza wa Jal, many things to do, and listening to the lectures, listening to the Quran, and doing the khidmah of their loved ones, knowing they will get rewarded inshallah ta'ala. They are not losing out. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward them for that, because it's something beyond their means. Wallahu ta'ala alam.
Jazakumullah khair, Sheikh. That was the questions that we have at the moment for now, covering Ramadan and fasting. Jazakumullah khair for your time, inshallah, for covering this session. And inshallah, we look forward to our next session. Barakallahu feek. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.